is Stanislaw Luberda. I am a video instructor here at C2 on the sunny beaches of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Today we're going to be taking a look at the different options we have for doing 3D in After Effects. So I'm going to start with our very simple composition here. I like to call this the step and repeat. Now, this isn't exactly 3D, but it gets the point across. So let's start by taking a step back. I'm going to go ahead and create a new comp. It doesn't necessarily matter which size. I'm just going to go with 1080 for right now. And what I'm going to do is just create a title here. In fact, I'm going to name it something called Title. It's very exciting. And I'm just going to up that resolution a little bit here so we can take a look at this. Now, by nature, After Effects doesn't really work in 3D by itself. You've got to have to make these objects into 3D. So as of right now, this is a 2D layer as if this was in Photoshop or a piece of paper on a table, something to that kind of effect. So to make this 3D, we have to go into our actual layer here, and you'll notice it says Title, since that's what I've named it. And I need to switch this into its different switches here. And upon our different switches, we have several different options, and this is the only one right here that we're concerned with. We want to make this a 3D layer. And you'll notice as soon as I click on this particular layer, we have this 3D gizmo pop up here. And what that is telling me is that it is now in 3D space. You can't really tell, but we have an arrow that's pointing up and to the right, so our X and Y axis, and we also have a third arrow pointing directly at us here, and that is our Z axis. So if I hover over this, you can see that there is a Z, whereas over here there is a Y, and lo and behold, there is an X over here. So you'll notice that I can go ahead and I can drag these up or down, as well as left and right. And if I grab on the Z index here, it is moving it forward and back. Now it looks like it's just really scaling here, so let's take a deeper look and see exactly what's going on. Right? So it's a little hard to see exactly what's going on here, so I'm actually going to create a different viewport. I'm going to look around this as if I'm stepping away from this table, so to speak, and looking at it from a different angle. So I'm going to go down to my different camera views. I'm going to go to Custom View 1. And here we can see that it's almost sitting in a 3D space here. It looks like it's kind of tilted, and we have our arrows here to show us exactly what's going on. And if I go to my camera controls, which is right up over here, I can click on this guy here, and we're just going to click on the unified camera control, and I click and drag. I can go around this object. Now this object isn't actually moving. I am moving around it. So as if this was sitting on a table and I was moving around it in 3D space. Now if I turn this off of 3D, you'll notice that this just goes flat. Because even in any of these views, because it's a two-dimensional object, we can't view it in 3D space. So I can only view this in 3D space if it is a 3D layer. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new shape layer here really quick. So I'm just going to make a circle. And we'll make this a blue circle so we can see it fairly well. I'm going to go ahead and drag that out. And you'll notice that it's not showing up. And again, the reason is because right now I am viewing 3D space objects. If I click this into a 3D layer, you'll notice there it shows up. And so if I go to my active camera, this is me viewing it as if it's a flat 2D layer, although it's 3D in space. Or I can view it from different angles here. And again, I'm going to hit the letter C for my unified camera controller, and I can move around that. And so now I can kind of see exactly what's going on. Now that I have these two-dimensional objects in 3D, that really doesn't do too much for me. If I move my camera control around here, you'll notice that it's pretty flat. There's no depth to these objects. Again, they're like floating postcards in space. That's usually what we refer to these kinds of objects as. So I'm going to get rid of this shape layer here really quick, and let's take a look at this title. Now, if I wanted to give this title some depth, I have a couple options. The easiest option is something I like to call step and repeat. And so what that basically means is I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to hit Command D on my Mac here, and I'm going to duplicate it. And now that I have this duplicated, I'm going to move this in the Z axis 1 pixel. All right. And so if I go to the right here and I zoom in, I'm going to hit C to toggle through my different camera controllers. And we'll get in here pretty tight. I can move around this and see it has just 2 pixels worth of depth. Now, what if I did this another 20 or 30 times? So maybe, let's say we want to give this a depth of 5 pixels. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that one again, move the position. I'm going to move this one 2 pixels. All right, you can already see getting a little bit more depth in there. I'm going to duplicate that again, and we're going to make this 4 pixels. I'm going to make one last one here, title 5, and I'm going to change that position to 5 pixels. And so now if I go around this here, you can see that I've got almost a stack of these. It's almost like it's a stack of cards. Now, what if I'm working on something here and I'm working with my creative director or my film director, and they say, okay, that looks great, except I need this to be 50 pixels big. I'm not going to go through the trouble of creating all 50 different layers and offsetting them by 1. That's just a lot of time that I can't really spend dedicated to building this title. So I'm just going to close this out here, and I have already another option here called Step and Repeat. In this particular Step and Repeat, this is built the same exact way, so I'm just looking at it in 3D space. The only difference is I've created a camera here, so I can just move my camera around here. And I have an expression control created on my position. Now, an expression control is a little bit beyond what this particular lesson covers. However, what I'm basically saying in this expression is, hey, whatever the x, y is going to be 0, 0. And whatever number layer this is, so if you notice these different numbers here, that is its pixel position. So its index is going to be 18 on the z-axis. And you can see that right here. So it's occupying 629 by 347 and at 18 z-space pixels. Now, I have several different layers here I'm going to unshy, and you can see that this is just one of several different layers that I have here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to turn all these guys on. And what this is basically saying is, hey, whatever number this is, let's put that in the z space. So again, I'm going to go to my transformation, and you can see in its expression here, its value is 0, 0, and then whatever it's occupying in this index. So this would be 2. And because I have 18 of them, it's going to be going from 2 to 18. Now, if I had another one here that was in position 1, that would start at 1. But because I have it starting at number 2 as far as my index, that's where it's sitting at. And so I can scroll around here, and you can see what I've got going on. So it's, again, like a stack of cards. So that's one option we have for 3D. Again, that's what I consider step and repeat. This isn't technically 3D because what we are doing is stacking a lot of 2D objects, and you can see the limitations of that. It's running just a little slow as it's trying to render all of these different options. And I can't move everything as one unified whole very easily. So that's another limitation I have here. I have a little bit of a stroke on the outside of my text layer here, so that's what's giving us that. I didn't have that on that green layer, which was giving us a very solid look, and I want to have that stroke so I get a little bit more definition. I hope you found this information useful, and if you have any further questions about After Effects training or classes available, feel free to stop by our website at www.c2gps.com. Thanks a lot. Again, my name is Stanislaw Robert Luberda. Hope you found this information useful.